this is Keisha here at TradeWithResolve.com, and this will be another Trading Essentials episode. If you're interested in learning basic terminology that comes up when getting involved in the markets, along with trading advice or tips and viewing live day trades, please consider subscribing to the channel. In today's episode of Trading Essentials, we will be discussing the differences between stocks and options. So with stocks, when you purchase shares of stocks, you actually become part owner of a company. So for example, let's say you buy 100 shares of Netflix. So you are now considered a shareholder. So that means that you now have equity stake in the company Netflix. Also, when it comes to stocks, there is no expiration date. So that simply means that you can buy shares of a stock and hold those shares as long as you wish. So you can hold those shares for months or even years. It's completely up to you. Now, if you're interested in long-term investing, which means you're going to be looking to hold shares of stocks for the long run, so for several years, you can actually earn dividends. And dividends are just a payout that the company decides upon. Most of the time, it's going to be quarterly payouts. So for example, let's say you have 100 shares of Apple, and let's say the dividend payout amount is 50 cents per share. So if you have 100 shares of Apple, you will receive a $50 payment every quarter. So this would just be residual income quarterly. When it comes to stocks, more capital is needed. So for example, Apple is currently trading around $190 per share. So if you wanted to purchase 100 shares, you would need $19,000 of capital to get involved. Also, when it comes to trading stocks, the PDT rule does apply if your brokerage account balance is less than $25,000. So we did go over the PDT rule in the trading mechanics course, but let's go back over it briefly here. So again, the PDT rule is when you have an account balance of less than $25,000, you are only allowed to make 3 day trades in a 5-day rolling period. Lastly, let's discuss the T+2 rule, which was previously T+3. Whenever you're trading stocks, you have to wait 2 days before your funds settle. So let's say it's Monday and you make a day trade on Apple, you would have to wait until Wednesday for your cash to settle in order to utilize those funds again, because it takes 2 days for your cash to clear and settle before you can use it again. With options, your funds settle much more quickly, and we'll go over that in just a moment here. Alright, so now let's discuss options. When it comes to trading options, you are not part owner of a company. So if you decide to buy options contracts, you are not going to be considered a shareholder. So therefore, you do not have an equity stake in the company. Also, there is an expiration date attached when getting involved in options. And we're going to go over in further detail how to go about selecting an expiration date later on in the course. So don't worry, we're going to get into the details a little bit later. Also, when it comes to trading options, you cannot earn dividends. So you are not considered a shareholder and you do not have an equity stake in the company. Also, less capital is needed to get involved when trading options. So remember the example we went over. If you purchased 100 shares of Apple and let's say the cost of Apple is about $190, you would need $19,000 of capital. Well, when it comes to trading options, you can get involved in some of these big board stocks like Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, etc. for a fraction of the cost. And we're going to go into further detail about how to determine how much capital you will need in order to get involved later on in the course. Lastly, the PDT rule does not apply when trading options. So if you have a cash account, you can avoid the PDT rule. So it doesn't matter if you have $5,000 or $20,000, you still do not have to worry about the PDT rule. So that's one of the pros that comes with trading options. So again, there isn't a PDT rule attached when you have a cash account. Now, if you have a margin account, the PDT rule does apply. So in order to avoid the PDT rule when trading options, you must have a cash only account. Again, if you have a margin account, the PDT rule does apply, but you can only avoid it by using a cash account. That is the key. Lastly, let's discuss the T+1 rule. Now, whenever you day trade options, it only takes 1 day for your funds to settle and become available so that you can utilize those funds again. So if today is Monday, let's say you make a day trade on Facebook, tomorrow, which will be Tuesday, your funds will be available to day trade again. So again, if you make a day trade today, your funds will be available for you tomorrow. So you can utilize and access those funds the next day. So this is really helpful as well because you're able to access your funds much more quickly when compared to stocks. Again, you have to wait 2 days before you can access those funds. After completing a day trade with options, you only have to wait 1 day. So that's one of the pros that comes along when trading options. Before getting involved with options, you really need to have a good grasp on technical analysis. So you'll need to be able to understand the price action and how to read a stock chart, because you're still going to be basing your entry price, your stop loss price, and your target exit price off of the price action of the stock. So technical analysis is still needed. There is no way around understanding technical analysis and how to manage your risk. That is still all very important. Options are just another vehicle that you can use to generate an additional stream of income. I hope you enjoyed this Trading Essentials episode and now have a better understanding of the differences that come with trading stocks versus options. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.